Hey everybody, happy Tuesday to you, 21st day of July 2020. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Koontz, your host, and it's down the road we go for another hot one in the old town today. Gonna be warm, warmest day of the year possibly. We hit 95 yesterday. We'll be right at kissing triple digits today, and then a cold front comes in, everything being relative. It's not very strong, and it's not going to cool us down a great deal, but anything is better than 100 degrees if Mother Nature's going to kick in. A little bit of a submarine air going to come in, going to cool us down a little bit. It's also going to pick up the wind, and that's really our main concern, of course. Low relative humidity, hot temperatures, wind, not a good combination. Forecast details are coming up. And right around the corner, a lot of news to get to, as you might imagine. Sports, we're going to be talking Wenatchee Wild Hockey. As you know by now, British Columbia Hockey League has bumped their season back to December 1st. The Wild, at least their staff anyway, are holding tryouts down in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll check in with the general manager, Bliss Littler. Also, we have the obscure holiday, Today in History. Mike Magnotti has got an opinion. We got some celebrity birthdays to get to as well. Yesterday we told you the story of a couple of Leavenworth teenagers, Anna Martinez and Bijou Zehm, who while on a casual hike over the weekend discovered a inner tuber in distress and was able to pull him out of the river. Our own Jefferson Robins had a chance to sit down with Bijou and Anna to find out about this incredible story. We'll have that for you in the back half of the program. Good to see young folks doing good works, always. Always. All right, it's already 73 degrees on our way to, again, near triple digits. But first things first, let's take you around the valley in north central Washington with our cameras. Cross camera does the honors. I'm seeing a few high clouds out there. We hit 95, as I mentioned yesterday. Our normal high would be 89. Our low on Monday was only 69, which was well above where we should be. Our normal overnight low was about 63. Sunrise this morning was at 5:27. Sunset 8:47. Days are getting shorter. 15 hours and 20 minutes of daylight for this Tuesday. Just a few high clouds outside of that. Beautiful morning. Again, if you have any kind of outdoor plans, be it hitting the Apple Capital Recreational Loop Trail or whatever the case may be, if it involves being outdoors for any length of time, you want to do it now before the heat starts climbing up. It was still in the 80s. It was 80 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's warm. I hope your air conditioning is working. I have a couple of friends whose air conditioner conked out on them. They had a miserable night last night. Nobody likes to sleep in the heat. Camera 2, I don't know. Megan gets to decide. I have to guess. Ooh, that looks like the Tumwater camera, and it is the Tumwater camera looking back down towards the Wenatchee Valley, towards Dryden and Peshastin, and then farther down to Cashmere, and eventually little old Wenatchee Town, USA. Good morning to our friends in Leavenworth, which is always a few degrees cooler. A lot more shadows, of course, in the Leavenworth area. But outside of that, beautiful morning up in the Bavarian Village. They are looking good. Good morning, Leavenworth. Good to see you. Camera number 3. We say hello to Jump Off Ridge. Wow, good guess, Dan. So that's the Columbia River way off there. The general Three Lakes area is about in the middle of your screen. You can just see a little bit of the Stimmel Basin on your way up to Jump Off Ridge. It's a long drive, lots of switchbacks. It's also one of the most popular sites for transmitters and repeaters and translators and sci-fi dishes, for that matter, and of course that camera. So beautiful view from up on top of Jump Off Ridge. Don't jump off Ridge. It's a long way down. How did it get its name? I hope it wasn't because somebody jumped off at one time, because they're not around anymore. Camera number 4. Let's see. Oh, let's visit Quincy. That's, of course, Steve and Lynette Hare's summer home. Steve just dropped by to say hi, not 15 minutes ago. It was good to see our now retired colleague, Steve Hare. You can see the shadows there. That is the transmitters and the dishes and all that other stuff on a highly secure area. It's all fenced off. Don't go up there. The security cameras will find you, trust me on that. And Quincy is down there to your left as we look at Monument Hill. Beautiful views, and all of those views, of course, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup, and you know what that means by now. You may be eligible to get fast internet at your house or your cabin or whatever it is without having to have fiber run to your home. If you're curious about it, give them a call at 888-8888. They'll just type your address into the database and find out if there's a tower that you can look at. And if there is, you're in good shape. All right, first of all, a couple of slides from the National Weather Service. Today's forecast highs, as you can see for the Wenatchee Valley, right around 97 or 98. Going to be hot out in the Columbia Basin. They're thinking 101 in Moses Lake. Tri-Cities will be in the triple digits. Down there in Hermiston, Oregon, going to be warm. And Ellisonburg, it's going to be warm everywhere. If you want to escape the heat, go to Stevens Pass. It's only going to be in the lower 70s up there. As I mentioned before, we're in for a sizable cool down, though. It's on the way. One more day of this high-pressure ridge, and it's not really a dome. It's a flat ridge. And when there's a flat ridge, it doesn't take a lot for it to get knocked out of alignment and head on off to another direction. That's what's going to happen basically Wednesday into Thursday, and that's when we start the cool down process. But another very warm one today. It is going to be warm tomorrow too, really, for that matter. The big cool down doesn't really happen until Thursday. And of course, we're talking about the risk of a grass fire. We had a couple of little ones break out yesterday, and they didn't really have a lot of wind to deal with. But again, breezy winds and low relative humidity. We're talking relative humidity is going to be down into the teens in the late afternoon hours, right around 18 or 19%. Relative humidity is bone dry. You combine that with the winds that are on their way and the hot temperatures, and anything that gets a foothold fire-wise could really take off. And it's not just grass, it's brush, trees. Any kind of wildfire can get going real quick over the next few days, especially on Wednesday and Thursday. A little bit of risk today, but really the big risk is when the winds start picking up with this Pacific air coming in. We're going to have some prefrontal southwest winds on their way, so we'll keep a close eye on that. All right, Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. Let's take a look at the forecast. You'll notice lots and lots of bright yellow dots. That represents, of course, what we like to call the sun. Could we get to 100 degrees? It's a possibility. I'm thinking more like 97 or 98, but still plenty warm. We have yesterday's high of 95. We should be at least a couple of degrees warmer than that. Look at the overnight low tonight. 72. Yeah, and again, there's going to be some places like Moses Lake and Grand Coulee, and maybe even Wenatchee could get to triple digits. Wednesday, as you can still see, will continue to be quite hot before noticeably cooler temperatures beginning to arrive on Wednesday. So later on today, a little bit of light wind, a northwest wind about 7 to 14 miles an hour later on this afternoon. And it's going to stay right around that 17 to 14 miles an hour overnight tonight. Right around there on Wednesday. Picks up in intensity on Wednesday night. That's when Wednesday night is when that the marine air pushes in and cools us down. So much more comfortable anyway on Thursday and Friday. Again, a little bit of wind today, a little bit of wind tonight. Strongest winds really expected Wednesday night. That's what we're going to keep a close eye late Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. And then once the marine air begins to usher out of the area, we're right back to warm temperatures. And by the way, those areas that are prone to stronger winds, you could get those rogue gusts up to 20, 25 miles an hour. I'm talking about, of course, us here in Wenatchee, up in Waterville, Ellensburg, Vantage, places like that where the winds can channel into those gaps of the Cascades and pick up a little bit of intensity. So anyway, outside of that, hot today, not quite as hot Wednesday, nice cool down on Thursday and Friday, but not much. And then we start warming up again just in time for the weekend. It is, after all, July, and that is your forecast. And of course, when it gets hot, people are drawn to the water, and that can be a problem. And we'll talk about some of those things when we get going with the news. It's 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Tuesday edition on the NCW Life Channel.
At Town Toyota, we believe in our community, and we're proud to support this broadcast of local sports. Town Toyota defines reliability and value in both its products and in the dealership itself. We are home to legendary products like the RAV4, Highlander, and Camry, not to mention Tundras and Tacoma trucks. Of course, we offer service for everything we sell and a great selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles as well. So enjoy the game and visit Town Toyota for all your automotive needs.
This hasn't been easy for any of us, and we don't know all that lies ahead. But as local business owners, we can't wait to welcome you back. So as we reopen, we'll be wearing masks. We all have different opinions about them, but standing with your neighbor sometimes means standing in the uncomfortable. And you can stand with us by wearing a mask when you visit.
We're back at 11 minutes after the hour, 73 degrees, near 100, maybe not triple digits, but still plenty hot today, slightly cooler on Wednesday, considerably cooler with a little bit of wind coming up on Thursday. And here's what's making headlines. That man who died in that tubing accident on the Wenatchee River on Friday afternoon, he's been identified now. He's 39-year-old Kyle Nelson of Wenatchee. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office said Nelson was riding an inner tube without a life jacket. About 50 personnel from fire, medical, and law enforcement agencies responded, pulled him from the river near the Sleepy Hollow Bridge. After he was taken to the shore of the river, medical personnel performed CPR but was unable to revive him. A GoFundMe page, by the way, has been set up to assist Nelson's parents with his funeral expenses. As of yesterday, more than $9,000 has been raised. Multiple agencies responded to Douglas Creek in the Palisades on Saturday to extract an injured patient from a popular but secluded swimming hole. The victim suffered a leg injury about 3:15 in the afternoon, but removing the victim from the swimming hole required a technical rope rescue and a medical hoist. Crews from 3 local fire districts, the Chelan County High Angle Rescue Team, Waterville Ambulance, and Ballard Ambulance teamed up for the operation. By the way, the victim was treated at Central Washington Hospital. Grant County rescue personnel sprang into action on Sunday after receiving a report of a rolled vehicle down a ravine outside of Ephrata. Grant County Fire District 13 firefighters called in, and the Grant County Fire District number 5 technical rescue team came as well to help reach the vehicle. It was at the bottom of a 50-foot ravine, but when they got there, the car was empty. Kyle Foreman of the Grant County Sheriff's Office said the registered owner sold the car over a year ago, but the new owner apparently didn't complete the sale by registering the vehicle. He said the circumstances of the crash and the fate of the driver are unknown, and the vehicle is considered abandoned. A brush fire along the Grant and Douglas County line was held to less than an acre. This happened on Friday night. Grant County Fire District 13 said local landowners and passerbys helped contain the fire. Broke out at Road 24 Northwest until the fire agencies could get there. Took about 16,000 gallons of water, but responders had the fire damped down and under control. Didn't take them a great deal of time. No one was injured. No structures were lost. A South Wenatchee billboard in support of police was defaced over the weekend with anti-police graffiti. The billboard went up in the last couple of weeks in praise of law enforcement amid anti-policing protests throughout the nation. On Saturday morning, Wenatchee police received a report. It had been painted with the logo ACAB, which is an acronym for All Cops Are Bastards. Police said so far there's no clue of who committed the defacement, which wasn't spotted by any security cameras. The customer who paid for the billboard is not known either. Police say it's likely the advertising company that maintains the billboard will have that removed. Despite a wide-ranging search, the body of that Kent man allegedly killed by the subject of a 3-week manhunt off Blewett Pass still haven't found his body. Chris Whitsett is an investigator with the Kittitas County Sheriff's Office, and he said yesterday that as soon as murder suspect Jorge Alcantara Gonzalez was captured back on June 14th, an extensive search was launched for the body of 41-year-old Ian Eccles, who disappeared May 17th while on his way to meet friends in Liberty for a turkey hunt. Investigators said when they found Eccles' car off Blewett Pass near Mineral Springs, it became clear he'd been murdered by Alcantara Gonzalez. The search for Eccles' body initially was hampered. Of course, there was a manhunt going on, and the fact that the suspected killer was roaming the area. Though the search now involves more, quote, intelligence gathering, end quote, than on-the-ground searching, officials are continuing to look for Eccles. In addition, Eccles' family and friends are still searching for him in private groups. Investigators have used trained evidence searchers and human remain detection dogs. Alcantara Gonzalez has not provided any information on the whereabouts of Eccles. Again, that's according to Whitsett. A forensic examiner of electronic evidence is working with several devices that were found in Alcantara Gonzalez's possession, looking for clues as to the whereabouts of Eccles. The Washington State Department of Natural Resources recently featured one of the key aircraft that it uses in both detecting lightning-caused fires and coordinating the attacks on these fires. Allison Morrow with DNR explains.
Hi, I'm Allison Morrow with your DNR report. The Department of Natural Resources uses all kinds of aircraft to fight wildfire, and from the sky they look pretty similar, but up close they're actually quite unique. This is an air attack plane that's often used to coordinate action from the air, but it's also used to determine when lightning strikes cause wildfire.
This plane is staffed by an aerial firefighter called an air attack supervisor, and they typically fly a route through the path that the lightning has just traveled or has traveled the day before, and they detect and locate fires, smoke columns, and they're critical in letting ground resources know where those fires are at, what they're doing, and how we can access those, speeding up our response and ability to suppress them.
There are a couple ways that crews spot lightning-caused wildfires. First, they tend to start on ridge lines or peaks, which can be seen from the air. Then ground crews will look for damage on trees like bark that's peeled off or missing limbs.
We will be finding lightning strikes that can be up to 3 weeks old. Is not uncommon. This airplane, as it flies over the area, will typically fly the path of lightning several times in a week. If we keep finding lightning strikes and the fuel conditions were right, we will continually fly until we're confident there are no other fires smoldering around out in the forest as a result of that lightning.
When not used to determine lightning strikes, this plane plays an important role in making sure air crews are safe.
Helping out communications. When we have 2 or more aircraft over a fire, we need an air attack up there. They're communicating with aircraft, making sure they're safely flying together over a fire, and then communicating that back to dispatch, and that kind of lessens the load on our pilots.
The planes have a special body type that makes them best fit for the job.
We use these dual engine planes mostly because air attack is up higher than other planes over the fire. They're flying counterclockwise over the fire.
If you'd like to learn more about how aircraft are used to fight wildfire, go to dnr.wa.gov/aviation.
And that's a look at what's making the headlines on this Tuesday morning. And once again, join me in the back half of this program. We have an extensive interview with those 2 Leavenworth teens who were heroes over the weekend. Anna Martinez and Bijou Zehm. Our own Jefferson Robins sat down to talk about their heroic efforts pulling a man out of the river over the weekend. That'll air in the back half of the program. We'll be back at it again, gathering the news all day today, and then at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, you can watch the news with Grant Olson and Eric Granstrom right here, or you can watch it on your smart device when we have it up and running on the World Wide Web right about 5 o'clock or so. And with a preview of the stories that we're working on, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, Grant County rescue personnel sprang into action on Sunday after receiving a report of a rolled vehicle down a ravine outside of Freda. Congresswoman Kim Schreier will hold a virtual town hall meeting in Wenatchee this week. I'll have your scorching hot North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will be here with a look at sports. All that and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. We appreciate it. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. Get a hold of us. Pick up the telephone and give us a call during regular office hours. You can email us directly, very popular way to touch base with the crew here. It's news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. You can drop us a line via our Facebook page on Facebook Messenger, or go to our homepage, bookmark it, because we populate it all the time with the latest news and programs and things like that. Go to ncwlife.com, click on the Contact Us icon at the top of the screen, and you can drop us a note that way. All right, 20 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break. When we come back, sports. We're talking Wild, Seahawks, Mariners, and Gonzaga. It's all 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
21 minutes after the hour, 74 degrees, near triple digits. It's a possibility, another hot one for our viewing area. Let's talk about sports. The Wenatchee Wild are holding a tryout camp in Las Vegas because of the COVID-19 shutdown. There's no ice in their home arena at the Town Toyota Center. Wild General Manager Bliss Littler says, like most small businesses, the organization is trying to stay afloat during the pandemic shutdown. He says it's only through the support of a great owner and fantastic sponsors that the team can remain viable.
Again, working for David White, the way he treats us employees it's so far above and beyond what other junior programs do, and we couldn't be happier working for David and our staff. That everybody on the staff's healthy. That Gretchen's doing a great job with the business end there. That it's amazing the support that we keep seeing with people with season tickets, with corporate sponsors in these tough times. That it's shocking. But then I guess when I think about the people that we've met here, it's just it's just a lot of really good people in the Wenatchee Valley.
The BCHL announced last Friday that they're going to hold off on any game action until at least December 1st, and that would make an 8-month shutdown because of the COVID-19. Of course, the league halted activity in March and canceled the playoffs because of the pandemic. General Manager Littler says he's working with his coaching staff on a timeline to bring players here to the Wenatchee Valley to have an extended training camp, whether there's a season to be played or not.
I've met with Coach Clark several times, and we're trying to look what an extended training camp will look like. That we still have to train our players. It's that our kids, they still have to develop. Even if you're not playing a game right away, we still have to make our players better so that at some point it's going to be time for them to go to college, and you can't miss out on 3-4 months of development. So we'll definitely be bringing our kids in sometime in September. Again, that will be with hopefully Mark Miller can get the ice back in the TTC sooner than later.
By the way, Littler says they are looking for billet families. They always do this time of the year. So if you want to host a Wenatchee Wild player this winter, give the Wild a call, 888-78-25. Today should be the first day for rookies to report to training camp, not only for the Seahawks, but for the rest of the National Football League. Concerns over COVID-19 by players and the Players Union probably results in nobody actually showing up. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The NFL and the Players Union have agreed to do more testing once training camps begin for everybody on July 28th. And in addition, it looks like the preseason will be reduced to either one game or no games at all. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said earlier this month he's going to err on the side of delaying the start of training camp to ensure that everything is in place and players feel safe about returning. The Seattle Mariners played a 3-inning inter-squad game Monday as preparations for the season opener Friday down in Houston continue. It was the first time Dylan Moore had a chance to take the field. After being quarantined for 14 days, he tested positive for COVID-19. He says he's as shocked as anybody when he found out he tested positive.
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I mean, I was asymptomatic, which was a blessing for sure. But yeah, just waiting for those 2 negative tests getting back. Obviously, time went a little slower for me, but just try to keep my mind off of it and do as much as I can in the hotel room and some dry swings and some stuff that I just kind of just moved everything out of the way and did some push-ups and just try to stay as sharp as I could with whatever I had.
Mariners are going to play a full 9-inning inter-squad practice game tonight at 6 o'clock. Then they leave on Thursday for Houston. They begin their 2020 campaign, the abbreviated 60-game 2020 campaign with a 4-game series in Houston against the defending American League champion Astros. That begins on Friday. And Gonzaga's Philip Petrusev has announced he's leaving the school. He's going to enter the pros. The West Coast Conference Player of the Year said amid the uncertainty of COVID-19, he's going to sign with Mega BMAX of Serbia with hopes of eventually playing in the NBA. Petrusev says he's looking at what was going on with the college sports seasons being postponed or canceled, decided that he just didn't want to take that chance. And I'm quoting now, "It was unfortunate that we didn't get the chance to compete in the NCAA tournament, possibly win the national championship. We are facing unprecedented times, and none of us has a great deal of clarity of what lies ahead, resulting in the uncertainty regarding the upcoming NCAA basketball season." Bad news for Gonzaga. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Tuesday. I had 2 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Be Someone Day. Well, I already am someone, so I don't need to worry about that. Today is also National Junk Food Day. Junk food, yeah. Not necessarily just fast food, just junk food in and of itself. I mean, Twinkies and stuff like that, candy bars. Yeah, so I've got all those magic ingredients, high in fats, high in sugar, high in salt, high in calories, and not particularly healthy for you. Today is your day, National Junk Food Day. I have a list of the most successful fast food chains in America. I think when we associate junk food, we associate it with, fast food chains. This is by sales. This is by actual sales, not by a popularity contest. The most successful fast food chains in America by dollar. Number 10, Panera Bread. I don't think we have one of those. Number 9, Pizza Hut. Number 8, Chick-fil-A. We don't have one of those either. Number 7, Dunkin' Donuts. Number 6, Taco Bell. Number 5, Wendy's. Number 4, Burger King. Number 3, Subway. Number 2, Starbucks. I guess it kind of counts. They have some food there. Number 1, not surprisingly, the most successful fast food chain in America, McDonald's, who I understand just opened their 100th restaurant just earlier this month. Happy National Junk Food Day. I do my best to avoid it, but sometimes it's like, I don't want to cook. I'm going to get in my car, and I give them money, and they hand me food out of a window. We call it good. 28 minutes after the hour today in history. It was really a big publicity stunt, but it worked. Got everybody talking. Everybody was talking about the Scopes trial back in 1925. And on this date, July 21st, 1925, in Dayton, Tennessee, John T. Scopes, a high school biology teacher, was found guilty of teaching evolution and fined $100. In the state of Tennessee, you could not teach evolution. You couldn't do it. Again, the trial, he was deliberately arrested. The trial was held in order to stage publicity. It was the battle between fundamentalists and modernists. Also drew quite a bit of attention to the small town of Dayton, Tennessee. The 2 most famous attorneys on the planet participated. Clarence Darrow for the defense, William Jennings Bryant, former presidential candidate, for the prosecution. If you're unfamiliar with the Scopes trial, I highly recommend the 1960 movie Inherit the Wind with Frederick Mark and Spencer Tracy. It's a really good movie. The Scopes trial came to an end 95 years ago today. July 21st, 1959, 61 years ago today. It took them long enough, but Elijah Jerry Pumpsie Green finally became the first African American to play for the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox were the last team to integrate. Didn't happen in Boston, happened in Chicago at Comiskey Park. By the way, the White Sox fans, knowing they were watching history being made, gave Pumpsie Green a standing ovation. Pumpsie Green, by the way, passed away last year. The public pressure on the Red Sox was absolutely intense among the African American community. They thought it was absolutely silly that they hadn't had an African American on their roster yet. Jackie Robinson had been retired for 2 years before the Red Sox finally integrated. But what finally tilted the balance is that African Americans weren't going to Red Sox games at Fenway Park. The mighty dollar came into fruition there. Among the players that tried out for the Red Sox and didn't make the team, Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, Satchel Paige, Don Newcomb, Hank Aaron, and Frank Robinson all tried out for the Red Sox and were not signed, all of them in the Hall of Fame. But finally, the Red Sox joined the rest of the world on this date in 1959. One of the nice things about the moon landings, if we get to talk about it 2 days in a row, because they'd landed on the moon on July 20th, but they didn't walk on the moon until after midnight on July 21st. They waited 6.5 hours after they'd landed on the moon. They literally took a nap, they had a snack to get all ready to go before Neil and Buzz hopped on the moon, and then it was on this date, about 2 o'clock in the morning, roughly our time. Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon. What was that must have been like for people who were watching TV? They landed on the moon. Man is on the moon, and now we have to wait 6.5 hours for Neil Armstrong to walk down a ladder. But that's what they had to do 51 years ago today. And speaking of space, there's the crew of the Atlantis. It was on this date, July 21st, 2011, 9 years ago today. The Space Shuttle program came to an end with the landing of the Space Shuttle Atlantis at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Here it is.
Landing gear down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Hurley now deploying the drag chute. Ferguson rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Nose gear touchdown. Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time. Its voyage at an end.
Hey, thanks, Butch. Great words. Great words. You know, the space shuttle's changed the way we view the world, and it's changed the way we view our universe. There's a lot of emotion today, but one thing's indisputable. America's not going to stop exploring. Thank you, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Endeavor, and our ship Atlantis. Thank you for protecting us and bringing this program to such a fitting end. God bless all of you. God bless the United States of America.
Why didn't they land during the day? They knew it was going to be the last ever space shuttle mission. There was no secret. It was the 135th and final mission of the space shuttle program. Why didn't they land during the day? I don't know. I got the facts and figures for the space shuttle program. Total cost of the program, $209 billion. From the time they developed the space shuttle through the retirement, $209 billion. Was that money well spent? I think so. How many days in space did all the space shuttles together spend? 1,323. How many total number of crew members on the 135 space shuttle missions? 833. Some individuals rode multiple times, and of course 14 astronauts died when the Challenger and the Columbia had their tragic accidents. How many space shuttles were launched into space? 5 of them total. Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavor. Of course, Challenger and Columbia were lost during their tragedies. And of the 833 people who flew into space on the space shuttles over 30 years, how many were commanded by females? 2. Space shuttle wrapped it up. Let's do some birthdays at 34 minutes after the hour. Still a huge fan of Ernest Hemingway. I haven't read anything that Ernest Hemingway has written for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years, but I've read The Sun Also Rises, A Farewell to Arms. The Old Man and the Sea was one of the very first books my dad ever made me read, and I'm glad he did. For Whom the Bell Tolls. Ernest Hemingway, born in the state in 1899, took his own life at his cabin in Idaho in 1961 at the age of 61, one of America's most well-known authors. We miss Don Knotts. He won 5 Emmy Awards portraying Deputy Barney Fife on The Andy Griffith Show. 5 Emmy Awards. Of course, he also played the landlord, Ralph Furley, on Three's Company, The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, The Incredible Mr. Limpet, the great and funny and hilarious Don Knotts, born in the state in 1924, died of cancer in 2006 at the age of 81. And Robin Williams, another guy that we miss, born in the state in 1951. Of course, he took his own life in 2014 at the age of 63. People forget he was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, and of course he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in Good Will Hunting. He also had a bunch of Golden Globes and Emmys, won 4 Grammy Awards, very funny guy. Tragic loss, we miss Robin Williams, born in the state in 1951, would have been 69 today. All right, we're going to take a break. We got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and then when we come back, our very own Jefferson Robins had a chance to sit down with a couple of local heroes, Anna Martinez and Bijou Zehm. You're going to hear their story when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging in Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson, where we've got huge news. We've started our Blueberry U-Pick. It's a great time to toss the family in the car and get on out to Blueberry Hills, where you can get the best down-home scratch country cooking around and pick some of the world's most delicious and largest blueberries that have been high desert farmed. This makes for an intense blueberry flavor, and they are so much fun to pick. Our fields are open 8 to 2:30 daily and restaurant from 8 to 3, so come on out and join us.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, many years ago, when I was a sex crimes investigator, I handled a brutal rape case. Bad enough, but I also found out that the rapist was HIV positive. And back then, AIDS was a death sentence, and you didn't find out if you were infected for 6 months. Well, we did catch the guy, and the gal wasn't infected, and the bad guy died in prison about 5 years later. And when I called the gal to let her know her attacker was dead, she said, "Oh, that's so sad. A wasted human life." Well, smart gal. She didn't let the bad guy take anything more from her, and she had moved on. Here was a gal who had every reason to be angry and bitter, but instead, she let go of her anger and even had compassion for the guy. She's someone who learned when you hold on to your anger resentment, and bitterness, and hold it against someone who has harmed you, it's like eating rat poison and then waiting for the rat to die. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for dine-in and take-out. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker. So stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner, dine-in or take-out.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
The response that I saw from Works reminded me about what a great company this has always been.
While some businesses have probably just tried to hunker down and survive, Blair and the team at Works have said this is an opportunity to become even better, to give more value to our members. I think it's amazing.
Blair's attitude is safety first.
I just really appreciated feeling like I wasn't forgotten about.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you. Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs. And we are back at 42 minutes after the hour, 74 degrees, near triple digits. We'll take one more deep look at that forecast before we wrap this show up on this Tuesday. But first, yesterday we told you about Anna Martinez and Bijou Zehm. They're two Leavenworth girls who interrupted their hike to rescue an intoxicated man on Friday as he struggled in the Wenatchee River. Our very own Jefferson Robins caught up to Anna and Bijou by the riverside. They told their story in their own words, and they also shared a warning about safe river recreation.
My name's Anna Martinez, and I'm 16 years old.
And my name is Bijou Zehm, and I'm 17 years old. We just decided to go down to the beach just to have like a river day. And it's just kind of like a little hidden beach between the local barn beach and the Safeway Bridge. I was like around 4:30 or 5 when we saw the tubes coming down.
And we saw 4 tubes coming around the corner, and both of us were kind of just like, that doesn't exactly look right. So we decided to run down the trail and go check it out, and then we saw the guy in the water, and then everything happened from there.
Yeah.
We have both been competitive swimmers since we were
5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah. We both just recently stopped competitive swimming. Before I even saw him, I thought I was just going to have to grab the tubes, so I'd already partially swam out into the river, and I was standing on a rock. And then I saw him, and I yelled out to him, and I asked him if he was okay, and he said he wasn't okay, which I probably could have assumed, but I decided it was better to ask. And he was flailing a little bit. He was going under and coming back up. He was definitely struggling a lot, and so I knew that we were definitely going to have to grab him. Like, he wasn't going to make it out on his own.
Yeah.
So when we grabbed him, he was actually pretty calm, which was relieving. We were kind of, I was scared at least, that he was going to be like trying to grab onto us and maybe pull us under with him. But he didn't do any of that, which is good.
We both started yelling at him to like try to swim sideways, and that wasn't really happening. So we just swam towards him, and he ended up going underwater, in which like Anna like screamed like no, and like we just both like, I think you were like, just grab his arm, and so we each
both
grabbed
like
his arm.
looped our arms under one of his arms, and we pulled him on his back on the way back, which was a little bit of a struggle because we're both small people.
And he was definitely like a lot bigger than us.
Yeah,
definitely a grown man.
Than us.
And also he was just really intoxicated, so that was like a bit of the struggle.
Yeah.
Just like trying to like get him to understand, and
because I don't think he even was really aware of what was going on, which is really concerning. After we got him to shore, we asked him if there was anything important in his tubes, and he said all of his phones were in there, And so we actually jumped back in and grabbed his tubes.
Yeah.
We only managed to get 2 of them, which was kind of sad, but
but the one that we didn't get was like a cooler, and then there was like a blow-up cooler that was attached to one of the tubes that we got.
It was full of empty alcohol.
Yeah.
And then when we got back to him, he was drinking already again,
like slurring his words, kind of. So we told each other, we were like, he's very drunk.
Both of us kind of like we looked at each other and we were like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, because there was just kind of a lot of panic in the moment, and we were also in the cold river, so like after we got out, we were kind of just like laughing, like not like laughing,
we were
but
really
we were
excited. Like we were like, oh my gosh, we like actually just did that. We were really proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we were very happy with ourselves. And then I think both of us like got home.
We like went to her house after, and we both started like tearing up when we were like telling it to her mom, and then we each like I went home, and both of us definitely had to take a night with family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is this the first time you two personally have seen somebody in trouble on the river?
No. This was actually the 5th person I've ever pulled out of the river. Yeah. This situation was definitely like the closest the person ever was to drowning, but I've definitely like grabbed like kids before, and I've grabbed 2 adults before with some of my friends. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
And when you spend a lot of time at the river, then you run into the situation quite a bit, so. Really, I feel like most people come onto the river expecting it to be like a lazy river at a water park. Like I feel like people don't understand that there's currents and there's streamers and there's rocks and there's a lot that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And just drinking on the river is not a good idea ever, really. Even if you're familiar with it, like stuff can always go wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And also if you have like kids, or like if you are coming in like a time when the river might be high, like a life jacket is never a bad idea, ever. Like we always wear life jackets in the spring if we go paddleboarding or something. It's just like really important. People die every single year, and it's just so heartbreaking, and we were faced with it head on, and so I think now we kind of grasp it more, and we just really want people to be safe, so yeah.
Really just like, I feel like as like 2 16 and 17-year-olds, like we shouldn't have been put in that situation. Like that shouldn't be a situation that I wasn't surprised happened. Yeah. Like I feel like that shouldn't be a common occurrence in this river or any river really. It just, something needs to change. There needs to be more regulations.
Yeah.
Atención, su colaboración es muy importante para usted y su familia. El coronavirus o COVID-19 no va a desaparecer en el futuro inmediato. Con su colaboración podemos crear un plan de acción para abrir la economía otra vez de manera segura con la información de este estudio de 250 pruebas médicas. Su participación es muy importante para que todos en la comunidad estemos representados con la información crítica para abrir nuestro distrito comercial a todos, protegiéndonos del riesgo de un futuro cierre económico. Las pruebas son voluntarias y los resultados son gratis y completamente confidenciales. Busquen su buzón de correo en casa para obtener más información sobre cómo puede ayudarnos en comunidad a reabrir de manera segura. Estamos aquí para apoyarnos mutuamente. Gracias por su colaboración.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
What's it mean to be free? To go to work, to go to school, or even go to the park?
In historic proportions, we've had our freedom jeopardized.
Was it all necessary for so long?
As a business owner, I know what it's like to work with all different people with all different backgrounds.
I promise to work hard to find common ground. This is a time that we need a leader that's willing to serve the people rather than to be served.
I'm Joshua Freed, and I'm running for governor.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat Tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
We're back at it at 50 minutes after the hour, climbing the ladder, 75 degrees. Could we hit triple digits? Going to be close. It's going to be maybe a couple of degrees warmer than it was yesterday. We hit 95 on Monday, and then things are going to cool down with some wind coming our way. We'll do a complete look at your forecast one more time, but first we wanted to repeat the top stories this morning. We begin with that man who died in that tubing accident on the Wenatchee River on Friday afternoon. He's now been identified as 39-year-old Kyle Nelson of Wenatchee. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office said Nelson was riding in an inner tube without a life jacket. About 50 personnel from fire, medical, and law enforcement agencies responded, pulled him from the river near the Sleepy Hollow Bridge after he was taken to the shore of the river. Medical personnel performed CPR but were unable to revive him. A GoFundMe page, by the way, has been set up to assist Nelson's parents with his funeral expenses. As of yesterday, more than $9,000 has been raised. Multiple agencies responded to the Douglas Creek area in the Palisades on Saturday to extract an injured patient from a popular but rather secluded swimming hole. The victim suffered a leg injury about 3:15 in the afternoon, but removing the victim from the swimming hole required a technical rope rescue and a medical hoist. Crews from 3 local fire districts, the Chelan County High Angle Rescue Team, Waterville Ambulance, and Ballard Ambulance teamed up for the operation. The victim was treated, by the way, at Central Washington Hospital. People getting in trouble in the water has definitely become an issue here as the heat continues to climb. 52 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll come right back with your weather forecast. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCW Life magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
There he is. Sure wish he was here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Little 4-point. It's a nice coconut.
Solid fish.
Watch the Northwest Outdoorsman with Richie Herod, Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 4:30 p.m. on the NCW Life channel.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guests for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
"54 minutes after the hour. We are at 74 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. It doesn't really matter where you live in our viewing area. Anywhere in eastern Washington is going to be in for another hot day today. No escaping the heat unless you're inside with the air conditioner, especially this afternoon. Some of the high temperatures today really jump out at you. In fact, we have a slide to show it to you from the National Weather Service. Look at the Columbia Basin. They're looking at triple digits in Moses Lake, almost there. In Ritzville, down to the Tri-Cities, 101. Pendleton, Walla Walla, near 100 degrees. Yakima, the gateway to Wapato, near 100 degrees. Slightly cooler in Ellsberg. Here in the Wenatchee Valley, upper 90s. Anyway, but we could get up to near 100, as you can see up in the Omak-Okanagan area. And even into the Medhow Valley, temperatures will be in the 90s. The only cool spots, and everything is relative, this time of the year, when you're talking about that much heat, we can head on up to the Cascades, get up in the higher elevation where the air is a little thinner and there's a little more shade to deal with. But that's your forecast high for most of eastern Washington today. Yeah, it's going to be hot. And then you're going to notice a little bit of wind, and that means, well, the risk of some grass fires. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a red flag warning. The one thing we don't really have enough of is the wind. The strongest wind is going to be Wednesday night, and this is when this prefrontal system comes in from the Pacific Ocean. It's going to cool us down quite a bit with some moist Pacific air. But the wind isn't going to be strong enough. But the humidity values, the relative humidity, is going to drop, below 20% in the afternoon hours, not only today, but Wednesday as well. That cooler air mass doesn't really come in until Thursday and Thursday night. It's going to cool us down quite a bit. In fact, we'll be a good 12 to 13 degrees cooler by the time we get to Thursday and Friday before we warm back up again. But again, breezy winds, hot temperatures, low relative humidity, a red flag warning. It could be issued. It could be issued by the National Weather Service. The one missing ingredient in all that in the equation is strong winds. It's going to certainly be breezy later on today, tonight, Wednesday and Wednesday night, and even a little bit into Thursday, but we're going to trade that off with cooler temperatures and slightly higher relative humidity. But today through Friday, we're really not going to get away from any kind of fire risk that's going to be gone. It's just going to be out there. We had a couple of small fires break out in the last couple of days. The fire crews were on them rather rapidly, as you might imagine, but if one gets going out in a remote area and just takes off before our professional fire crews can get to it, we could have some serious fires going out there, grass fires, brush fires, even forest fires. So the risk of a wildfire is certainly out there. It happens every year, but the risk is up there. So we want to keep a very close eye on that. Again, a little breezy, very low relative humidity and hot temperatures, especially today, and even really on Wednesday, before the significant cool down doesn't really begin until Wednesday night into Thursday. So from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, who gives your home a hug, one more time, let's take a look at that forecast. Again, temperatures at least well into the 90s all over the inland Northwest today. And as you saw, Moses Lake, I haven't mentioned Grand Coulee could get to 100 degrees. Yakima, 100 degrees. Here in Wenatchee, close to 100 degrees anyway. Could see triple digits. Hasn't happened all year. Wednesday will continue to be quite hot, as you can see with a high of 95. But the noticeably cooler temperatures will really be coming in on Wednesday. So we do have some southwest winds that are going to kick up in intensity later on this afternoon out of the Columbia Basin, the Waterville Plateau. And for those places that are prone to those gap winds, that's when the winds can channel into some narrow areas and pick up in intensity. We're talking Wenatchee, we're talking Waterville, talking Ellensburg, talking Vantage. We could see the occasional gust up near 25 miles an hour. In some locations later on today, we're going to be more like northwest wind, about 7 to 14 miles an hour. And most of that wind that we're expecting is later on this afternoon. So unfortunately, during the hottest part of the day, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock is also going to be when the wind will start picking up. Clear tonight, 72 for the overnight low. Still a little bit of wind, a northwest wind 9 to 16 miles an hour tonight. Wednesday, slightly cooler, but not much, about 95. Still some breeze, anyway, to speak of. On Wednesday, a northwest wind about 7 to 10 miles an hour. Wednesday night is when that Pacific cold front comes in. Again, it's not packing a big punch, but it's certainly going to cool us down to more temperate temperatures right around 88, which is about normal for this time of year. Our normal high temperature never goes above 89, even during the hottest time of the year. So it'll be certainly much more comfortable for many folks on Thursday with still a little bit of wind left over. You see the overnight low on Thursday night getting down to 60 degrees, which is actually below normal. That marine air will be hanging around on Friday. No wind in the forecast. In fact, Friday looks downright pleasant. Quite a bit of sunshine. Highs will be in the upper 80s. Very little wind. 58 for the overnight low Friday night. If you have weekend plans, here comes the heat again, 89 to mid-90s by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. Everybody have a good and safe Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.